about a year ago. Just turkey season.
Episode name: Jake almost got his pecker ate off by a snake.
Bex.
Bex.
6.
That was better than that.
Was it?
That was a solid clap.
It had a nice pop to it.
It did have a good pop.
It did.
Wasn't very
Good
loud.
resonance. For Kirk, that was great.
Okay.
Yes. As my brother would say, there was soul in that one. We're back, boys.
We're back.
Yep.
Hard to believe this is the third series of Protect Our Farms.
Yep.
First one was beginning of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Then after wheat harvest?
I believe so. Yeah, we had that
After wheat
right
harvest?
there during, Memorial Weekend.
Right before wheat harvest.
Yeah, we were flooding.
Yeah, you
Oh,
guys.
that's
were,
right.
That's right
Yeah,
before
we were
wheat
flooding.
harvest. Yep.
Yep.
And then here we are again.
All our farms are still here. We're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
No,
We made it, guys.
We have
made
less
it.
hair, more wrinkles.
we're still above water.
That's right.
Still above water.
Anyway, my voice is a little scratchy, so you guys are going to have to carry us on this one.
Yeah.
But
We'll do our best.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming up this way.
Man, we are in the house of the king.
Wow.
We're in the house of the king. X9, the NCGA trophies. We did not pull the wheat one off the wall. What was the yield?
132.7.
Wow. Tip the hat.
Yeah. my
Didn't,
hat
didn't
off
know
to
what
you,
I was
old
doing
dog.
at all, but it was fun. It was fun.
Good.
to grow
Man,
some
if that's
wheat.
not, I'd be fine not knowing what I was doing
No, it
the
was
rest
fun.
of my life.
Set the bar too high, really. I mean, that's only my second year kind of growing wheat. But yeah.
It gets better. It's
It's
better.
going to
Hope
get
so.
so much better.
So it's kind of funny. We were talking before we started here, but you guys didn't even plant wheat this year.
We did not. No.
And Jake and I are up here, with pivots and stuff, and now we both got wheat again. So it's just funny how things change.
And you're going to
things-
double crop.
Yep, I got.
You're going to try it.
Yep.
Did you double crop anything this year or just
No, I
Okay.
should have wanted
no?
to.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I did 40 acres. I left it for the deer.
Deer habitat.
It's probably 30 bushel out there right now.
Awesome.
Good beans.
That's right.
The deer are probably hammering them.
I drilled a cover crop into them because in July, I think I planted them on July 14th. And so that's our dry year. That's where we get dry. So I was like, well, I'll just seed cover crop into it. We'll have green, some leftover beans, and away they went. They look really good.
Awesome.
Wish I would have ran the combine through them, but
So we were at lunch and we're like, what do we talk about? Because all of these podcasts are so scripted. Not.
Yeah.
We've never known what we were going to talk about when we sit down. And I don't know of any of the singular podcasts. But one thing that we've talked about, I texted you guys earlier this week. I don't even remember what I texted.
I couldn't tell you. No.
I
remember
know.
I saw the text and I was
remember.
like,
You do?
Yep. It was about come up with one or two things that you feel like would help farmers right now. Because this is a hard time in ag.
mhm.
And I think this year especially, the last 2 years really, but this one coming up, we're going into 26. This year's going to test a lot of people. But, it's just about how can these, because the industry feeds off of us, right? We're at the top. We turn the wheel essentially. So, what can they do to help farmers right now to kind of, we can all get through this together kind of.
Well, first off, I'm already thinking about the comments in the comment section
Yeah.
about,
best thing-
let's see, what were the comments?
that's
Some
fine.
of the comments from our last podcast.
Let 'em rip,
We're
boy.
spoon-fed.
Just
We have born with silver spoons in our
Yeah.
hands.
Get a
Yada,
haircut.
yada, yada. And that's
Get a
fine.
haircut.
get a haircut.
That's
Must-
right. Get a
must
haircut.
be nice to have hair to get cut.
Cheers. But yeah, what going into 2026, things that we've learned from 25 and years past, talking to people, talking to, older guys. What are some things that we plan to implement to make it currently looking at it, make it through 2026, or what's our plan of attack? Because margins are wildly thin to negative in most situations. And I'm not saying necessarily what product, we're not I'm going to spray this product type deal.
Mhm.
We were talking on the way up here. There are things we can do. Man, we're dragging our feet doing it.
Well, we can be conservative with the way things are, the farm economy, conservativeness is probably the go-to. But is that necessarily the best way to handle your operation? Because I don't think anybody that is conservative is wrong, but the guys that usually are a little bit more aggressive seem like they are ahead of the curve, or they're bold enough to make the decisions to be aggressive. I don't think you want to be so conservative that you sit on your hands and miss an opportunity, but you also need to be smart enough not to make a jump that's going to, put you under or bankrupt you.
Right.
You can't do that.
It's probably somewhere in the middle.
It has to be.
About like everything.
I think you've said this before too. There's a lot of skill in knowing when to press the gas and when to tap the brakes.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, that comes with experience and learning, and probably a lot of learning to be had on my part in that. 'Cause I'm usually all gas, no brakes, and trying to
that's
bring
how
it back a little bit. It's probably something that could be.
Isn't
to my
that most
benefit.
guys though? Probably in our age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really, this is the time to push the gas.
Yeah, you feel like kind of like on the mentality side, like coming into an operation, being the younger guy, being the one with the least amount of experience, you feel like you have something to prove. Like I have to prove my worth, prove my knowledge, or prove that can do it too, or come up. I feel like that's where a lot of new ideas come from.
And we're also full of ambition now. You know, normally the older you get, the less, I wouldn't say less ambitious, but the less risk taking you have. I mean, we're a very ambitious age right now.
Sure.
The world is at our grasp.
I will certainly say the older I get, the less ambitious I get in many cases.
Well,
Be like, this is good enough.
And maybe it's not ambition. It's just what you mean, because we got kids. Having more kids. You just have less time. Time is still time. You got less time to do everything with it. But
I was in fist bump you.
yeah. My grandpa always had a saying. It was, when everybody's running, you should be walking, and when everyone else is walking, you ought to be running. And that doesn't just pertain to fertility.
And that's
I think
what I
that's
wonder.
a little broader
And that's what I
spectrum, but-
wonder. We're going to come out of this down ag economy, and say it's, let's just say 5 years. It'd probably be sooner than that if we look at historical trend lines. But say 5 years. Are we going to be like, man, I wish I should have ... We'll always have those.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like,
Boy, at the time, I couldn't do that.
Right. How do
mean-
you,
Mhm.
I could have squeezed one more or piece of ground. Big one for me, us, is land is selling around home.
Everywhere you look,
Yeah.
Land is selling. And it's like,
Yep.
golly, I'd love to buy that.
right
Right.
down the road.
Yeah.
Drive by it when you go down the corner. Everywhere.
Yeah. It's like, man, I'd love to own that. What's, how much money is that? What's the payment, et cetera? And then how much do you want to be leveraged in a time, in an economy like this?
Right.
Are you going to sell an asset to move cash over here? Are you going to, man,
Well, and I've said this, but we're not even, we've got hit with a double whammy on our farm. I'll say it again, because the economy is bad. Plus, we had a really bad transition. We're still trying to heal up. Yeah, we'd love to buy more ground, but I said that, we got set back. So how many opportunities are we going to miss out on just because we're just still trying to heal up?
Sure.
I mean, and that's when you say, it's not just woe is me, but everybody's in a different position. So, just don't judge people because you don't know what people are going through or dealing with or whatever. You just got to kind of stay in your lane. And it's just completely different for everybody. But
Well, and it doesn't take very much to upset the apple cart
right.
at this time of life.
It's pretty tender.
Because there's so many moving pieces. Children, wives, businesses, side businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do, you guys have the seed business, Jake, Joe, you have singular in the seed business. All of us here are diversified outside of just agriculture. So there's that as well. And then on top of that, it's things we enjoy doing, whether it's recreation or whatever it might be.
And people asking, not necessarily asking, but they're hoping that you would volunteer some more of your time to, for example, coach little kid basketball.
Right.
That is one of my greatest fun things I can do in my spare time. But I'm sitting here thinking, I have 3 kids. I work 2-3 different businesses, and do I have time to do that on top of everything else I'm doing? And it's like, do I make time to do that, something I enjoy, or do I focus my time to improve my business, to make more money, to do things that I can, make it to where I can afford to do these fun things? I don't know. So,
Well, and that's trying to figure out the streamlined aspect.
yeah.
Our most valuable asset is our time.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And it's hard to put a value on it sometimes, on time. Whether I should coach basketball or spend more time in the shop.
Serve on a board.
Or, serve on a board.
Serve on a board. I mean, that's something that's
serve the
seems
church,
like everybody
or
wants us to serve on boards right now.
Or simply just sit in the house for an evening and just do nothing. I mean,
it's
I'm
got its
serious.
time.
I mean, it has its place.
Yeah.
That's
where your kids want you to be.
right.
Do you want to be the guy that does nothing but work? I mean, do you want to wake up and as soon as you get up 4 o'clock in the morning, go completely balls to the wall all day long, crash at midnight, do that every single day, 365? I mean, there's guys that do that, but you're spending your life to make a living. And I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to do it.
And the older,
spending your life to make a living.
Yeah. Think about that one for a little bit, because that's what we're doing.
And the older I get, it's like, wow, in 20 years, I'll be over 50. Like
I
how
know.
Life is really short.
But then you've got that aspect of then I feel like I don't have much time left.
Yeah, it's half over.
Right.
I mean,
What-
or,
I'd like to do, list off achievements that I'd like to do.
right.
Man, I better get my butt in here.
Yep.
But anyway, I want to talk about Alex Harrell. I think it's Harrell.
Couldn't tell you. Harrell or something like that.
Harrell.
Yeah.
Let go of half of his farm ground. Did you read the story?
I did not.
So Alex let go of half of his farm ground. I believe I got this correct. I read it and then I listened to a deal yesterday on it. He took his top. He listed his ground in productive and efficiency rating, and he took the least efficient, least productive half, and he let go of it. I think it was 14 different landowners or something like that. Like I said, I might be off just a fraction, but he let go of 3,000 acres, half his operation. And what's interesting, that was a really interesting deal, but what's been interesting is to look and read the comments and look at the conversations that this has sparked of people that are saying, I'm doing the same thing. I did this. I did that. Because, you get down to where margins are so thin, you are going to have to cut costs. Well, inefficient ground is a cost. And so, it's just sparked some fascinating conversation with people. And you said something at lunch. I want you to keep going on that.
Yeah, well, you said we had a conversation about quality versus quantity at that point in time, and you asked, where ag is going? And I just said, well, as of right now, our market and how the whole system is set up doesn't support that at this point in time. I think that's probably the better place to go, because if everybody's farming half the amount of acres, that's more opportunity for everybody.
Right.
At the same point in time, and if everybody can gain the same efficiencies off of that, then there's, again, back to the day, we talk about, you read all the Facebook comments about corporate farms and the family farm is dying. Well, if everybody's farming 3,000 acres, there's a lot more family farms at that point in time. That was down a little bit of a rabbit hole on that, but as of right now, you haul grain in, you go anywhere, we're not testing nutrient content in many cases. Most of it is just weight. Here's what it is. Quality is not a factor in like what we do in corn, soybeans, wheat. Wheat a little bit, protein, test weight, but not much. And until the market can support that, I don't think that's going to be a main focus in many cases.
Right.
And maybe that's where it's shifting. I don't know.
I think it's a brilliant idea, really, because I've said this before. Just because you're farming more acres does not mean you're making more money. And really, with what you're doing, you're subsidizing your good ground to help the bad ground. So why not just get
robbing
rid of
Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah, so why not just ditch whatever it is, whether, you know, a higher cash rent or marginal ground or whatever, and just get more out of the good stuff.
The time you're spending on
Yes.
working on that upland ground that doesn't make, 30 bushel beans at the best, you could be taking that time and better utilizing your bottom ground that, you can increase your yield from, say, 40 to 60 just by doing a couple different applications. And you can't do those applications because you're spending that time on ground that might make 30.
And, it's less wear and tear on equipment. It's less wear and tear on yourself. You got more time. You got, or you got more time to allocate to do other things.
You look at what one of these depreciates at. Per hour.
We figured that up here a week or so ago.
$150 an hour depreciation for that key to be on.
Yep.
At least.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And so that's just what it loses in value, not repairs and maintenance, fuel, anything. That is just what it loses in value.
And that's just that one piece.
Right.
That's not anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how much time is inefficient farming costing you?
Mm-hmm.
Because we look at, okay, I applied this much fertilizer, this much seed, this much herbicide. This is my, and I planted it. This is my equipment payment, whatever.
Right.
But if you're not factoring in the value lost because of your depreciation, you're missing out on actual ROI. Yeah. It's a false number because you're not taking in all the factors. Because how many times do we go seed, fertilizer, chemical, rent,
right,
and that's our rough budget.
Yeah,
rough budget.
And that's not even close. I mean, really?
No. No. You look at everything else that goes into the operational side. I mean,
insurance, labor.
Look at monthly burn.
Right.
Take all your annual expenses, your insurance, your
all the overhead.
your labor paid,
Yep.
everything that just is your electricity, your fuel, all that. Calculate that out on a monthly cost. That's how much is it $10,000 a month, $20,000, $5,000, whatever it might be. And you start to realize how much money it takes to keep an operation moving just in basic expense. And that's any business.
Yeah.
Running a business has taught me how important that aspect, all the stuff that we don't talk about, because it's not shiny, it's not new, it's not innovative.
It's still dollars that come out of your pocket.
Just the basic stuff is really your most expensive bleed. Burn. I mean, we call it monthly burn. How much does it cost? I've got it figured out for my farm where I pay, I take all my cash rent in a year. I take my wages, fuel, insurance on all the equipment, everything. Divide it by 12. That's my monthly burn. Whoa.
Yeah.
And you're like, that, and how much of that, none of that is input costs. None of that was herbicide, chemical, seed, or,
cost of living, depreciation.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Right.
All
and it's so
things.
variable that
It is.
sometimes it's hard to quantify it until you get to the end of the year. But I mean, and sometimes it's hard to wrap your brain around it a little bit. But yeah, like you say, it's a monthly burn.
And there, hopefully, that's where a lot, looking at a down ag economy, so much where guys are going to get in trouble is looking at, this is how much I have in seed, fuel, whatever. It's uncomfortable to talk about things that we don't know. How many farmers know their actual ROI per acre? Not very many, because I've talked to a lot of farmers, and it's all about how much we all know how much we raise per yield.
Yeah,
but we don't. How many can just off the top of their head, this is how much I made per acre.
Yeah, how much you make
or
per
lost.
acre. Yeah.
Or lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
cases.
trying to forget that.
Right.
It's like, so that's not focusing. Now, here's the thing. I say not focusing on yield because extra yield is what's going to be extra dollars in our pocket this year.
Yeah.
So, more yield will help.
All right, guys. So we've got a website, singularagronomics.com. Check out the link in the description below. And we got all kinds of stuff on there.
Oh, yes.
We've got product. We've got merch. We've got newsletters, blogs, videos, links taking you places. The nerds are they're always adding stuff to that page. So anyway, check it out. It's a great resource. We're working really diligently on consistently keeping that thing up to date.
Well, yeah, and I would say, you said the link below. If you can't find that, just Google Singular Agronomics. It'll get you in the right direction.
Yeah, you'll find us. So appreciate you guys.
And we're back.
Slight Sorry,
delay.
we had to do a I don't know. Kirk had to uncork something.
Something
I
died.
don't know. Yeah, something died. Okay, we're gonna talk budgeting just a little bit.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, sorry.
That's
me.
you.
Yeah, sorry,
That's
my
your
cue.
part. You're the one
That's
that
my
pulled it
cue.
out.
Okay. All right, sorry. So I did a little figuring the other day for East Central Kansas. The soybeans was going to cost $300 an acre, and corn was going to be $400. Let's just call it $415 an acre for corn. That's every input cost. That's rent. That's family living. That's depreciation. That's all of it, as down to the nitty gritty as you can possibly get. So with today, what are beans today? $10.
Sure. Easy
10
math. Let's just say $10.
$10. You're into beans for $300 an acre, right? $10, 30 bushel beans. Guess how much money you're making?
Zero.
$0. So you need to have better than 30 bushel beans at $10 to make any money. And what's the name of the game? Make money. Corn.
Now that was equipment payments.
That's everything.
That's everything
Yep.
factored in.
Yep, that's
Got it.
everything factored in. Corn, you're looking at, what's today price of corn? $4. Let's just call it $4 for figuring purposes. You need, let's see, what's that? 100 bushel corn is $400 an acre. You're losing $15 an acre at 100 bushel corn. That's Chase County, Kansas, East Central Kansas inputs. So how many years, have we seen 100 bushel corn and 30 bushel beans in the last 10 years?
A lot.
It happens more often than I'd like to admit. And granted, we've had good years, but man,
We've also had some real bad years.
that's kind of
And
what.
then look at APH.
Yeah, our APH.
What is APH
county average is 96,
on
and
corn?
you're paying. Let's just say you're paying 80% APH of that.
Right.
So you're down to what, 74 bushel.
Yep.
But now, granted, these input costs are going to fluctuate.
Yeah, I was going to say people
You're
are
not-
going to just lose their minds.
You're
at
not
this
going to
part.
have those inputs everywhere. That's just
This is going to be all over
Yeah,
the place.
because ours is way higher than that.
yeah, that's just an
Yeah.
average for where my location is. But golly,
Your level of risk that you've got. I mean, every operation is going to be different.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's why it's fun to sit here and talk because they're all so different.
They're all
just from
different.
you to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're
yes.
2.5 hours difference
Yeah.
in a drive time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not that's not that far, but it's crazy how different that is from Chase County to Marion County. 30 miles is completely
The
different.
desert.
You go to Lyon County East, it's incredible soil over there, and it's a lot better production. But we're right in the middle, and that's kind of why I like to use those averages, because I feel like it's pretty average for our location.
Yep.
So
And some of it is, I think this year for me, like even let's just say fertility, because that's talked about a lot. Maybe it's time to take a year off of some things. Now, that doesn't mean you can't ever use those whatever again, but maybe we just ought to take a year off of X. I don't know. We're just trying.
Boss.
Yeah, anything. And yeah, that could be anything for anybody, but that's just an example. But
So this year, Heathman and I, we were looking at input costs and everything else. A lot of our corn is going on some of our good ground this
Yeah,
year.
yep.
A lot of our good acres is going to corn, where we've got good phos levels, or we've got manure, or we've got et cetera. And we've, phos is really
it's
really
terrible.
expensive this year.
Terrible.
It's a very expensive. Nitrogen's not cheap.
No.
It's really expensive. You look, say, expensive compared to the price of the product you're producing. It's high. It's high.
Right.
Now if corn was $6, would people say it's high? Well, it's all relative to the cost of the product you're producing. It's like, well, if our phos levels are good, maybe we back our phos off this year and we make up for it on a different year.
Well, and even disease pressure. You and I walk our
Yeah.
fields fairly well. I'm sure you guys do as well. But you can probably walk these fields and make a good management decision and maybe cut out $20 an acre just in a management.
Well, that's the
decision.
thing is I think if there was ever a time to be intentional about scouting your crops, it's in a low market. It's in any market. Really, there's no excuse. If corn's $6, you should be walking your field because you have every little improvement is how much more return compared to a $3 corn market.
Back to the
It's double.
We're in the name of game of making money.
Right.
You know?
So your increase opportunity is double, but your loss is also much riskier because every loss you don't have as much revenue to offset that loss. Anyway, that's, but man, just walking your fields and making those Johnny walked me through this 2 years ago. I was looking at just a banger corn crop just at the house. It was, man, dude, it was good. It was like Ethan Weir's.
It was impressive. It was impressive.
And anyway, I'm walking it, and man, rust came in. Common rust looked terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, dude, this corn was just, it was so good. We were full dent. I mean, Ethan would have been out there shelling it. Okay, he'd have been shelling it. But it's at like 28%, which where we're at, we don't start until it's 17.
You can, say we put some.
Even then, you'll get rejected.
Yeah,
in elevators.
You can go in the bin at 20, but still, yeah.
Anyway, rust came in. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. Absolutely, just freaking out. Call Johnny, FaceTime Johnny, it's come in. It's here. And he's like, you're dented, dude. It's done. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to take yield off. Or if you take a bushel off or 2 bushel max, like what's the most damage this is going to do at this stage?
Yeah.
Weigh that out in everything. In every situation, what is our loss? And it's really hard to take a loss of any kind.
It is.
But is it a loss where whatever you do to offset that costs more than the loss? That's an actual loss.
That's a loss.
That is a loss.
Right.
Where your input costs more than what you would have lost or gained, by doing that. That's an actual loss.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. How many times do we do that though? Quite often.
All the time.
Or even like throw rust out of the mix. Like, oh, I got this new, foliar product I'm going to try. How many did we might have gained 2 bushel. Did it pay? But then we're figuring, okay, cost of product. What about fuel to go across that field again? Time, another day. Everything Joe was talking about. The intangibles, the stuff we don't put on our projection sheet to hand to our banker every year. Say, hey, look, it's okay.
Right.
That's a different sheet than the one we hand our
That's
CPA
right.
at the end of the year.
That's right.
Saying, hey, look at all these expenses I had.
Yeah.
You know, knock them off.
Right.
Like, it should be the same sheet probably.
So what's Jake doing? What are you laying in bed at night thinking about crop wise in 2026, farm wise?
Oh, I was just telling Joe before we started this, I'm still feeling kind of burnt out for 2025.
Still?
I'm like behind on 2026. Like I've not got going yet on this year. But
do you feel that way?
No, we're in a whole different
But
situation.
no, like, I mean, for 26, are you like, bring it on? Are you kind of like 25 still burned me pretty good?
Oh, it doesn't burn.
Well,
It's just
we're just like I said, we've talked about the down economy. I'm tired. I feel I'm just kind of dragging my feet.
It feels like it hasn't quit. The hits keep coming, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily hits. It's just we've been busy.
And I'm not
that's
complaining.
Let's talk
That's
about
just
that
my
report
mindset
that
right
came
now. I'm
out
just kinda like,
last week.
All right, like.
Let's talk about being hit. Let's talk about that report that came out last week.
We're all in the gut.
It was. We're all anticipating this government subsidy that's coming next month, and I know, bring on the comments, whatever. That's
Welfare.
fine. But if you do the math, because right away I'm like, we lost 35 cents, and now it's come back just maybe, just a little
nickel.
But the amount of money that we're going to get next month on corn is just about exactly the amount of money that they took out last Monday in the market.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the business.
It is.
It won't be the last report that comes in negative. Certainly won't be the
And
last.
the first
100%.
comment's going to say, "How come you didn't market better?"
Yeah.
That's what's going to be.
No,
said.
and you're
yes.
right. That's fair comment. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
we
can do
could've
better,
sold.
if you can do better,
But
I
if
mean,
it had come out lower,
Exactly.
we'd have been great marketers.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd
it's
have been
all
smart for
relative.
hanging on.
Right.
Well,
And the thing is you look at all the firms that came out, private firms that do their own data collection. For majority, all of them showed that there was lower corn acres and bushels out there than what
Right.
the USDA said. So if nothing else, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what's actually out there. What matters is what they say is out there. That's it. That is it, because that is what is traded off of.
Yep.
And that's been said on this podcast before, is whatever they say it is, that's what people are that's who people who work in the market are going to react accordingly.
They will trade off of those statements, those reports.
And so it doesn't really matter what reality is. And we speculate. We speculate every day.
Yeah.
A lot of the day, be like, that's not that good. Or that's a little better yield. And when in the end, what does it really matter? Does it really, like,
Nope.
I don't know, but should it?
it
Should
should.
the actual number matter?
It should.
Like, I mean, we have all these private tours that go around.
Yeah, they like it when we give them what our actual yield
and
was.
get that, and they want
Give us the
like,
actual-
Why shouldn't it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You're going to
should.
get me wound up. You're
Well, yeah.
Keep cranking the winder, huh?
But
It's-
but why is the market subject completely just what is said instead of what's actually there?
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a good conversation with someone last week that said, and this, we need to have a shirt made that says, here come the comments, because this will fire up another round. Farmers, I am one, so I can say this, we act like our business or industry should be a certain way all the time, when in reality, no market is that way. The American farmer has gotten really freaking good at producing what we produce.
Yeah.
I mean, yields have just increased. Okay? We get rewarded off of bushels produced, not quantity. RFK, if you're listening, holler at your boys. But it's really, and so what have we been incentivized to do?
Grow more.
Grow more.
raise bushels. Yep.
The guy in the county that raises the biggest yields usually gets a lot of first opportunity at ground, straight up. He's, everyone just buddies up to, I don't want to say buddies up to, but it's this egotistical drive where, I say that, I mean, I believe we've all entered in National Corn Growers Competition, and it's fun.
It is.
It's a lot
It's
of
fun.
fun. Okay, I'm not bashing it at all, but it's a fact that we are working in a market, in an industry where more is encouraged, higher yield, higher bush. It's all we're faced. It's the only thing we're faced with when we walk out that door by ads, companies, etc. Is
10 more bushel.
that's right. If you put this on, this is this much more. And we tried it. It's singular, dude. We really tried to just shove all that aside, and we try to just focus on ROI based stuff and not just bushel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, at the end of the day, it's like we've shot ourselves in the foot by thinking that we should be paid more on something that we have overproduced and continue to do so more every year. Like, do you think the national corn average is going to continue to go up, or do you think it's going to start to trend down? It's probably only going to go up.
Yeah.
Why? Because farmers are getting better and better and better and better. Hybrids are getting better. We're getting better at management. I mean, straight up. So, it's kind of like Jason Mock at Ferentz Con was like, he's implementing other practices. You're looking how, double crop soybeans. Does that work behind wheat?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at I think we're just on the tipping point of farmers are just starting to open up to the thought of a different market.
We have to,
I mean, what would happen seriously is if all of us got a call tomorrow that said no corn or soybean seed can be sold in the United States of America in 2026. Like, wombs. It's some disease, toxin, whatever is in there. We can't sell it. What would we do? Seriously, how many acres in North America would just be like,
Not only us, but the general population.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
just period.
It'd be
How many
an
of us
uproar.
could shift to a different commodity?
Yeah.
It'd be wild.
And then you just flood the market with something else.
Well, that was
Yeah.
a
You know,
that was a
Yes.
conversation I had the other day with somebody. Was, we were talking about alternatives, and it's like it's hard to find an alternative when there's no market for it. I mean, locally, you think about it. What do we have? We've got feedlots you take corn to. We've got elevators. They put them on trains, send them out. We've got ethanol plants. That's it. If I wanted to grow oats right now, where would I have to go?
I don't
Around
know.
here.
Yeah. we don't know.
Iowa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to go to Iowa. But that's not feasible.
No.
I can't.
The infrastructure is, and here's the thing, the infrastructure has been built to service the commodities that we produce.
and they know that.
Yes, they do.
You know, Big Ag knows that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And, and so I'm not saying this as, we're a product of our own, I don't know what the term is, product of our own. It skipped my mind.
Well, yeah, it's kind of our own fault that we're here.
a little bit.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to diversify in cattle? I mean,
I'll say
I talked to a
this.
few guys that they're going to plant grazing crops this summer and turn pears out on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
how about this? Think of this one. So we've run the numbers just on our farm. We would make more money this year if we just rented it out than farming it ourselves.
Unless you hit certain yield
Yeah.
goals, but all of that is circumstantial to elements outside of our control.
And
Weather,
what-
it's all weather.
And that's going to get comments. I really don't
Oh,
care.
yes,
but
bring
what
it
a
on.
sad place to be when you can make more money just renting it out than farming it yourself.
Yeah.
And like I just said, we kind of did that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But
It is why we're all here too. It is a labor of love.
It is.
We
Oh,
love
yeah.
to
It
do
is.
it.
Yep.
Some days I don't love to do it, but most days I love
Yeah.
to
At the
do
end of the day, I
You know?
thoroughly enjoy what I do. I love what I do.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
It's
going to
just,
read a comment. Yes.
but
You guys keep going.
Trying to balance everything else. Like I said, we have the business side, and it's completely transitioned to what it used to be. It used to be a family operation.
Right.
You get up, you tend to the crops, you tend to the cattle, whatever, the livestock. You go home, hang out with your family into the day. Now it's a business, which is totally fine. We got to make money. But, man, I hope people don't lose the sense of love and enjoyment
well,
they do for it.
because it used to be when our grandfathers were farming, if you worked harder, generally that meant you'd make more.
Yeah.
And
It
it's
used to
did.
work
The
that
harder
way.
you work, the more you make.
yeah, and it ain't that way no
No.
more.
no,
it's
now
not.
it's if you work smarter.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
I mean,
that
sometimes
saying.
that equates to hard work too. Almost always.
and hard decisions.
It's got to be calculated.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
I mean, it's got to be very calculated nowadays.
Well, you can't afford to be wrong.
No, you can't.
I mean,
You really can't.
No, you can't.
I will say, in small mistakes, there's value usually
Yes.
because it's a learning experience.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
no, you can't. Yeah,
So
You can't run scared every time something happens.
right? You can't be scared of your own shadow either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
here's a comment. This was on one of our reels. So we had Jason Mock on the podcast, episode 109. One of the comments, it was an older guy. He commented, the reel was about land and ROI, and it was said, and he said, "This is exactly why I'm selling my farm ground. My net return on investment is between 2.5% to 3% at best after taxes. It's not worth it. I can get twice as much in an annuity guaranteed for 5 to 7 years." This
And
is not a
he's-
statement by me. This is someone that just commented in that
And
really
he's-
struck me. I'm
And
like,
he's right.
he is right.
He's right.
He is right. Land is going up in value, and this is probably going to sound like a session of complaining, and I don't want it to come across that way. It's
Yes.
These are real
when
problems.
we started
real situations.
when we started the Protect Our Farm series, it was this is where we're at currently. And there are people that come in like, well, when I was young, it was this. That's great. Should have started a podcast back then and talked about it then. We're here. We're right now. Okay.
Right. This is what's going on today.
If you would like to talk about it, holler. Let's talk. Let's get some of those guys on. Be like, hey, back then, would you talk to the now? Please.
Well, and I'm not old by any means, but 20 years ago,
I haven't walked someone else's life.
Yeah.
I've walked mine in today's world.
farming is just so different than what it was even 20 years ago. You know, the tech, the operations, the machines, everything's so different. And it's been a learning curve for the last, you know, let's just say I've been back on the farm for almost 20 years. What I know now, I wish I'd have known then, but at the same time, what I know now wouldn't have applied then.
Right.
That's right.
So it's interesting to look back on things.
I think that's just a natural progression of the farm, and
Growing.
you know what your kids do on the farm is not going to, everything we're talking about today is probably not going to pertain in most cases to what they're doing, and so on and so forth.
It's, man, I don't know where ag is going. Like, we're at this really unique situation in time where
Yeah.
administration has a lot to do with it.
And the generation that's getting older, that you know, there's going to be a big land transition. And
the average age of the American farmer is 58.
I feel like we're already seeing that.
We
I've
are,
seen more
but I mean
around-
the people and the generation that's like in their 80s that still has a lot of the land.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's just a game of survivor. You know, we've talked about that before, and just because of inflation, you know, it was worth way different then than what it is now, and that's what's caused a big problem, you know, in our farm and family, and it's, you know, it's just, yeah.
We've got, I was watching a reel today, Barn Talk was talking about how labor, we have such a hard time finding labor now.
I saw that reel.
And gosh, we're training, and he's right, we're training our kids to do other things around the farm, electricians, fixing bins. You know, we're teaching them to be plumbers, we're teaching them to be welders. They can't start off helping us on the farm without something at stake and make money. They would have to go find a trade, and then boom, there you go, we lose all of our labor. And I thought, man, that's what it is. You can go make so much more money in a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
off
just
the
a
bat.
How many
fast,
people say that, man, I'm going to farm so I can become an electrician?
Yeah.
I want to be an electrician so I can farm on the side.
Right.
So I can afford to farm on the side. It's a fascinating concept.
it is.
And I don't know how much the industry has weaponized that against us, is because sharks will circle in anytime they smell blood, okay? And this is really going out on a limb here. But the desire to farm and care for land is deeply ingrained in mankind. I'll just say mankind. Land is a very desirable thing.
Yes.
It always has
been.
It always has
That's going
been.
back to
It's
the
been,
Bible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since you know, Bible times, everything.
Yep.
The goal was ownership and possession of land.
I mean, there's shows that's all they fight about.
Landman, baby, Yellowstone.
Anything. It's
It's
always,
always comes back to
everybody
land.
wants the land.
There's a
Yeah.
but there's a reason those shows resonate.
Uh-huh.
Is because it hits home at a personal level of you feel like your home is being intruded upon,
Or your way of life or
your
whatever.
your way of
Yep.
life is being threatened.
Yeah. 100%.
And so, how much are you willing to give in opportunity, say successful opportunity, life, money, whatever it might be, so that you can do this? How many people, you know, I know because of Singular and people I've met, I know a lot of people that they do XYZ during the week so that they can farm. You never hear about it backwards. I have never once heard someone say, I farm so that I can run a backhoe business.
Right.
Or
It's
whatever.
never that way.
Fill
is
in
it?
this,
No.
you know, I farm so that I can have a seed business, etc. It's something so that I can farm. And so there's something deeply ingrained in
It's the love for it.
It is.
It
I mean,
is.
The
It's
fact you can put something in the ground and let Mother Nature take over, and you have the right or the privilege to watch it do its thing. And it's rewarding. It's
And,
very rewarding.
I
to do
mean,
that.
this is awful Yellowstone, but you know, Kevin Costner's talking to his grandson, and he, you know, well, then why do we do it, Grandpa? And he looks at his grandson Tate, and he goes, "Because it's one hell of a life."
It is.
And it
Yeah.
is, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a legacy. It's, you know, I mean, that was a heavy comment. There's a lot that goes into that, but yeah, it's just a love for the land and a love for what we do and a love for passing it on to the next generation.
Yep.
But it's, so say the sharks circling, how much are we willing to give and bend before we give that up? And people know that, and they'll use it. And I'm going to, oh gosh, man, I could pick on different people. I don't want to pick on an industry because every industry has its own issues, it has its own struggles. I'll just, let's say fuel. I'm going to pick on fuel. Nobody picks on fuel. I'm going to pick on fuel. This is literally for an example only. I was going to pick on seed, but I have 2 seed dealers sitting here at this table.
You won't offend me.
You're not going to offend us.
It's okay. I'll pick on seed. I'll
go
pick on
for it.
seed.
Let's hear it.
I'll pick on seed. And this is,
Stretch out.
dude, yeah. Here we go. How much are the companies that own the traits that are charging trait fees willing to, they're going to hold because we have to have seed. Really, what are we going to do? Not buy seed? Are we going to buy inferior genetics? That's all risk that we take off of our end. And so how much are we going to give up? How much are we willing to sacrifice to not have what we think we need, etc.?
Right.
It's like, I'm going to pretend to be one of the seed guys. What are you going to do? Not buy seed and plant this year? You got to have it.
Right.
Same with fertilizer, chemical inputs, machinery, all this stuff. Like I said, I use seed for example. I'm not,
But they're all industries do it in their own own way.
But here's the thing: is we as farmers think this is our industry. It's not. This is the way the world works. This is the way business works. To think that, we have a record amount of grain on hand, but I want to be paid a big price for it, is lunacy.
Yeah.
In this world.
It is.
The oil man produces surplus of oil. Guess what? What's the price going to do?
Go down.
Tank.
And here we as farmers are like, I want $6 for my corn, even though there's more than ever before.
And by God, I'm going to try to go to.
And I'm going to sit here and wait for it. And I'm going to be a little
Yep. Bleep.
and gripe about it till it hits there.
Yeah.
And so we got to be reminded. It's like, dude, if you don't like the current situation, look at other opportunities.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is all going to force us really at the end of the day where we want to or not to grow and to be better farmers.
Be better.
Maybe you plant a little thinner this year and save on seed.
Man.
Maybe
There you go.
maybe you
We're
take a
getting
year.
through.
Maybe you take a year off of some certain things, and now all of a sudden that -15 or whatever turns into at least a break even or maybe a positive 20. I don't know.
Maybe you take that one back corner of the field and you put it to wildlife habitat.
Well, that
Yes.
might be a
Well,
stretch, but
It
no,
might pay the taxes.
He might pay the
All right.
taxes. If the price
So
goes up, I'm telling you.
You take that 2-acre patch that doesn't grow anything, you turn into wildlife habitat. That 2 acres that never grew anything, you still have, instead of an
Just
80
became
acre
the
field.
highest ROI on the
Yeah.
farm.
Yeah, well,
no,
that, and it improved
if you're
your
like me,
APH
now you just
everywhere
spent
else.
3 times the money working on it and hunting
That's right.
over it. Yeah, no.
That's right. Well, but look at Gibbs. Look at Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs is a great example. Ryan Gibbs, Northeast Iowa. Great example. He took some of his lower production ground. He planted it to a grazing crop, and he's grazing cattle on it.
right.
Because why? Cattle are paying good right now.
Mhm.
And so
It's just thinking outside the box.
it is. And man, the guys that think outside the box are going to be the ones that are, when we are all our dad's age, as it has always been, this is not circumstantial to this generation. It was the guys that thought outside the box are the ones that will be looked at that captured opportunity. It was the guys that did the same thing every single year that really never got anywhere.
Right.
Like we were talking the other day, you and I were texting back and forth. The guys that think or do things outside the box usually get looked at as strange, odd, weird. But
We were talking about
you go
that.
back 20 years ago, the guys that were strange, odd, and weird doing pretty good today. You know,
Yes.
that's the thing. If you're thinking outside the box, you're not part of the norm. And what's your favorite phrase? Follow the herd and you'll be slaughtered.
Be slaughtered.
So it's okay to be a little odd, be a little different, do things that aren't quite what everybody else is doing.
There are still challenges to stepping outside the box, and that's probably the scariest part about it, is because when you're working with inside a market and industry that supports the normal way of doing things, it doesn't seem like there's many avenues to step out of that.
It feels like you're forced to conform.
It feels like you're stuck in a very tight
That's right,
area.
It does. And so, like, you know, you look at certain, you know, you mentioned Jason Mock and his relay cropping, stuff like that. Great idea. But then you start thinking about, well, if I was going to do that, I got to set a piece of equipment up to do this. And now I farm with 2 other people. I got to get them on board, and we got to try that. And it's just like, you sit there and scratch your head for a while, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'll table that. It just seems like a bigger challenge and it's worth going through. But that's part of the running scared type thing we just talked about. I mean, it's
well, a lot of it's the fear of being looked upon as the crazy guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, every modern practice was a new trend at one time.
Yeah.
And the first guy that did it was the crazy guy that everyone at the coffee shop ragged on.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 years later, they're all doing it.
And I don't know if I'm not, maybe this is a personal thing for me. I'm not really worried about what my peers think. More or less worried about if this doesn't work, what's my family think?
Yeah.
What's
what does it do
what's
to the
my
operation?
house mortgage company
dude.
think?
I think
you know, it's
Still have to make
more or
some
less
money.
on that, right? So it's
Calculated risk.
I think we've
calculated
all gotten to the
decisions.
point where we really don't care what the people
I
down the road think.
I don't.
There's never been a time in my life I couldn't care less what they think.
Yeah.
Because the things that I care about are way more important than what I think than what someone's opinion that, how did I put this? If you wouldn't take advice from that person, how did I put that? If you wouldn't take advice from that person, why would you be offended by their opinion of
There
you?
you go. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, well, like really, like you said, if this doesn't work, is my mortgage going to be paid?
Mm-hmm.
That's way heavier than if someone drives by and says, that dude's nuts.
Much more. Yeah.
Don't care. Keep driving, whatever. So, I don't know. Maybe you should raise Milo.
We did a long time ago.
Really?
We had Milo.
Oh, yeah. That'd get Bean so excited. God bless Bean.
Before the corn got drouthier, and then, well, you know, in this area, before a lot of the ground got developed for irrigation, yeah, we raised a lot of Milo around this area. 30 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I'll be curious to see. Kirk, are we about out of time? Okay. On the next Protect Our Farms, I want to do a brainstorm session of what are things in agriculture that we see that could be changed to help longevity of farming. You know, what are different practices, different legislation put into place? That's what I'd like to talk about. But anyway, I'm losing my voice.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's Protect Our Farms. Like I said, this probably comes across as a lot of doom and gloom, and I want to leave everything on a positive note when possible.
Well, yeah, and we've said this before. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal.
No,
but
go.
just, you know, check on your neighbors, you know,
Yep.
talk about it.
These
you
are
know.
4 guys. We're sitting around a table talking about things that are on our mind.
Things are tough right now, and it is okay to say, boy, this ain't this ain't looking too good this year, Joe or Jake or whoever. You know, what are we going to do about it, or what are some ideas that and some of those, we've talked about this before, are kind of vulnerable conversations because it puts, it's
vulnerability
stressful.
is uncomfortable because there will be times that it will be rewarding because of the relationships that are deepened because of it, and there are times that it's used as a weapon against you.
Yep.
Because you will be stabbed in the back for being vulnerable to someone and trusting someone, and they'll use it against you straight up.
Yep,
Happens. We've all
100%.
had it happen to
But
us.
just check on your neighbors, because this is a pretty trying time in ag. I mean,
Have that conversation.
Yeah.
It could really save somebody.
I feel like it's, and I don't think every generation, I think in our age goes through it. Because we're getting to the point, we're in the age group now, and I've talked to some older men about this, where we aren't the young guys now, per se. You look at the guys that are just getting farming, are in their 20s, we're in our 30s, and you have guys that are older that have been farming. There's 3 stages. There's the new guys that are jealous of the guys above him because they have nicer equipment, more ground, whatever it might be. You have the guys that are our age, 30s and 40s, who, man, we really feel isolated. I'm going to skip one. You have the older guys, and I say this, probably be just slammed for it, but I have talked to some older men about this, and I am repeating what they have said. It is hard for them to watch younger men excel because they can't do it anymore. And it is very, very hard. And so it's watching someone do something that you were always able to do and freaking kill it, and it's watching those guys excel. And that is really hard to, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, accept that you can't do it anymore. We will all be those men.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to be. We will be guys that, have trouble getting into a piece of machinery, or, can't lift something that I used to be able to, or my hands don't work like they used to. It's coming. It's coming.
That, and the fact I'd say we're all very good at our craft. And we all are doing that because we're so meticulous. We take the attention to detail with all 4 of us is probably higher than most. For somebody to turn somebody else loose on your ground with your equipment, that's a control issue, I'm sure. But at the same time, you know how you want things done, and you know how to do it correctly because you've been doing it for however long. And maybe not correctly is the right word, but your own way. It's going to be tough to do that someday.
Well, you got to take the time and teach somebody and
Exactly.
kind of nurture them, and let them, and then teach them your way.
It'll be our children,
Exactly.
man.
Yep.
It'll be our children.
Yep.
As we were those children. But see, the older generation, so you have our generation, and Heath and I were talking about this not long ago. It feels very isolated. It like, I feel locally more alone than I ever have before.
I would agree with that, just
Yeah.
because a lot of our time is in our wife and kids, because, we don't go anywhere because it's an act of Congress to even get out of the
Get
house.
3 kids out of the
Yeah.
house, get things done, get things situated. The next thing you know, everybody's throwing a fit, screaming. So you have to leave whatever event you went to because it's bedtime.
Yep.
It's like,
And that's just the stage of life we're at.
yeah.
But
I wouldn't trade it.
No.
I wouldn't trade for anything.
Right. But but at the same time, you're viewed as the older guys are looking at you as the guys that can do what they used to be able to do. The young guys are looking at you as the guy that they just want that they want to be like, but in a jealous sense. And I know this is some heavy words because I was a young guy looking at the guys that had nice equipment now, or whatever it might be like, I wish I could be like that, or I wish I could farm big open ground like that. There's a myriad of things. I wish I could. I wish I could. Then we're in the phase of life where we really don't care.
Yeah.
We've just got our head down and we're trying to bust butt and make money and
be good fathers to everything.
Be dads and husbands and be progressive and be freaking good at what we do. And, and buy land and think about what are we going to retirement and thinking about passing this whole bucket off to our kids if they want it. And then we'll enter the next phase of life. And I was talking, one of the elders in our church texted me the other day. He said, hey man, I'd like to pray for you. How can I pray for you? What's something you, and I said, man, can you pray that I age well? And I've met a couple of men that have aged well. I've met a lot of men that haven't. And dude, I want to be an old man. I want all of us to be older men that age well and are an encouragement to the next generation. And we're going to fight the same battles.
Oh, yeah.
We are not going to be excluded from the struggles of our hands not working and not being able to do things that we used to be able to do. But going into some of these things as prepared as possible so that we can age well, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Aging gracefully. That's what the goal is.
Yeah.
Well,
aging
and be
gracefully.
willing to let go of the reins, when you
Yeah.
know it's time. And most of the time, it's better to do that before it's too late. You know what I mean?
If you want to preserve the next generation and
Yeah.
legacy.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's for opening another can of worms.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll save that for
Anyway,
the next one.
We'll save that for
We
the
do.
next one. But
So we got a real Kirk's giving me the so next Credit Card Farms. What are some ideas that we as young farmers have that would help agriculture as a whole to help longevity?
Do some brainstorming. We'll come back with it.
Yes. See you guys on the next one.
See ya.
see ya.
Guys, thanks for watching the content so far. If you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got all the full-length podcasts, other video information, tutorials on there. Also on all the major podcast platforms and social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. So if you like this, go ahead and check more out on all those platforms.